Hey everyone, how are you? How are you doing today? I'm sure as you guys probably know from my last video, I have a guide for you all on how to... Okay, anyways, I have a guide for you all on how to relive Pleaful Parent, this spirit right here. I'm sure as you all know, this will be the traveling spirit that will be coming to the home space this Thursday, and it is probably one of the most difficult spirits in Sky to relive. I'm sure those of you who have done it already know this, so let's break it down. So aside from the fact that it is in the cesspit of krill in the graveyard area in Wasteland, being seen by a jumbo shrimp isn't all you have to worry about. There's surprise attacks from crabs, the light getting stuck on various objects, and my personal favorite, the fact that you move no quicker than a snail and then go even slower because of the darkness water. So there is a lot of stuff that you have to look out for and be aware of. So let's start reliving this memory and breaking down the best way to go through it all. Firstly, I recommend having your sound on. I know the krill sounds can be a little bit scary and various other noises in Wasteland, but it is really helpful for being able to spot them. Whenever you come up here, this is probably the easiest part of the whole memory, is just going up these ledges, up to the cliff edge here, and then just grabbing this section of the memory. As you can see here, the area below is where the krill patrol, so you have to time it perfectly with their patterns. So this krill right here, as you can see, will be the next one to come and sweep around this area. Sometimes it happens where the blue searchlight touches you, but I don't know why they're not able to see you. It doesn't hurt to step back, of course, but keep this in mind. So as you can see here, the krill is passing by. The blue light does go through me, but it doesn't actually trigger the krill's red light response. So now that they have passed, we're going to step on down. Oh, and be sure that the krill passes completely, because sometimes the krill glitch out and get stuck in an area. Yeah, it's annoying. So here the light will fall on its own after you come down from the cliff, but it can get stuck on these cliff textures, as you can see here. So just fly up, grab it, and keep moving. It will time out if you don't get it quick enough, so be sure to be prompt. So the window here is pretty tight, but keep on moving. The trick to reliving this spirit is to win the game of chicken. I know that there's krill, I know that there's crabs, but try to keep on pushing forward if you're in an open space and not near any shelter. Speaking of shelter, sometimes you can use that little structure in a pinch, as you're about to see here whenever the krill stops glitching out. Come on, Mr. Krill. Okay, there we go. So you can see that the searchlight passes over us, but it doesn't actually trigger that red light response. But as you can see, the spirit light that we're walking with can get stuck. So you'll have to come out and around and move your way to the next memory location. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next part of the memory. If you guys take a look at the timer for the spirit, you will see I got a bit more time. That's because this is another time I was reliving it, because in the footage I was using from the first one, whenever I was walking through this area, the krill searchlight passed over me, like directly over me, and didn't trigger anything. So I didn't think that it was probably accurate to everyone's experience reliving it. I don't know if it was a glitch or what, but it didn't trigger anything. So I figured I'd show you what it looks like whenever you can just walk through. There's no krill around, no blue searchlights, and you just make your way on through. There's a couple krill that can come through here, sometimes very close to one another. So it's a case of just watching their patrol times and then just going for it. I think in total, reliving the spirit took me about 10-ish minutes, which is a long time, but even whenever I completed it, I still had about half of the countdown timer left, and you are allowed 14 minutes to relive this spirit's memory. So you can take your time. It does allow for you waiting in between the krills patrolling in the area. So whenever you are reliving this spirit memory, it's actually good to stay tucked as far back as you can into that little corner, because the krill can see quite easily through the two massive holes into this area. So just keep on moving, keep on going back as far as you can, and then once you've relived that memory, then make your way out as I am doing here. So my goal was to go to that little boat, but I'm actually going to hide in this shelter here because I see the krill is coming around again, because they can come from either direction, as you can see. So he's coming down from this side this time. So we're going to let this krill pass and then make our way back out again. I do get attacked by a crab here, which is terribly annoying. But anyways, just gonna do that. There you go. Anyways, we're gonna make our way now to the boat that I was talking about before. This one right here. So it can be actually quite a good shelter for hiding from the other krill. I know that there's not like a top part to it, so it can't protect you from above, but actually the krill mainly will see you from the sides here. But because there was no krill coming, I actually decided to head straight on. So I did stop here for a second just to show you where you can hide, but I decided to head straight on. Okay, this is where I had a little bit of an issue though. As I was coming up here, the krill definitely cleared the area, but as I said before, they can get a little bit stuck and kind of come back around on their route from a different direction. That is one way that I was able to dodge a crab though, so at least I was able to do that. Hey everyone, just pausing because I realized I could have hidden behind this structure. You know, that big structure right there. That one, yep. I've definitely hidden behind it before, but I guess I panicked. So that is another lesson. Don't panic, keep moving forward, and you can use that massive thing, rock structure, I don't know what it is, as a hiding place. Okay, back to the video. But you can see the krill must have went out and then looped around that structure coming back, and then I tried to double back myself, and that's what I did wrong. I should have just kept moving forward and not played the game of chicken. So what I do whenever I'm seen by the krill light is I actually run away from it, and then I go back to the spirit's memory, because you can actually leave the spirit's memory circle and it doesn't time out completely, and then I managed to get back to it and it was fine. So you have, I think it's like a 15-second cooldown, so I just kept going to try and pick up my light, but I just missed that one, and then I dropped down just below a level 150, which was kind of annoying, but it's okay. So you can get hit by the krill and still continue on. I know for demonstration purposes that probably wasn't the smoothest thing to do, but I have done this memory so many times and that hasn't happened, but it's one of those things where it's a little bit unpredictable sometimes if the krill suddenly run into a blockage and then they turn around, and yeah, so this was actually the time that he was meant to come back around, as you can see here. But just for better demonstration purposes, I'll show you guys what it looks like whenever it is just the clean run. So I was hiding by this boat yet again, and then I was making my way forward while looking around and surveying for more krill. So I make my way towards the memory, and there's all kinds of directions that the krill can come from here. So up from the left, they can come down the hill, they can come from behind you where the big darkness plant is, and then of course they can come from the other side of the structure where the memory is at. So you really have to be surveying around. And then I managed to make it up here, no problems, to the memory, and that was completely fine. And it can be done. You can have that whole stretch of a walk with no krill coming through. I just had bad luck with my timings there. Okay, so now we are back on track, and I'm going to show you guys how to get to the next part of the memory. So after you get that little memory, just keep on making your way here. The sand can be a little bit slippy, so try to carefully maneuver your way through, but still, again, keep moving forward, and then you're going to fly up onto this structure. Just take it nice and slow though, just one little flap at a time. 2 flaps seems to be enough to get up, and then just carry on forward. Just in case you didn't know as well, whenever you're on top of these rock structures, you're actually out of the krill's sight, so they can't see you when you're up here. The only time I have ever been seen when I've been up here is whenever another player brings the krill's light up in this direction. That is honestly the only time, so it's a little bit of sabotage, but it's okay. So I jumped down here, and as you can see, the light got stuck again. So you'll have to fly up to it and just drag it on out slightly and then pull it down. I don't like to walk through all of the different parts. I like to fly up on those structures because, as I said before, it's safer than being seen by the krill. And then I hide here because the krill was coming, and as you can see, he got stuck again. So I don't know what's going on. He looped back around, and then he saw me because I thought it was clear. But I'm hiding here, and it's actually okay. This is the trickiest part, though, I think, because it crosses over the paths of 3 different krill, so up to 3 krill can see you at one given time, which is very stressful. So you can see this one's just finished the cooldown of the searchlight, but then this one came around, and then I couldn't walk around the corner anymore because the memory light got stuck. So then finally, whenever they passed, I moved along straight ahead. So after you get past these krill, you can use those structures to try and stop them from seeing you, but your main difficulty here will be the crabs. It is so helpful if you have someone with you reliving this memory, and even if someone's walking the light, someone's just kind of dealing with all the other distractions along the way, like getting rid of the crabs and stuff. Because whenever you are on your phone, I don't know if Android players have this feature, but anyways, on the iPhone, I find that I can't do a big call and walk forward at the same time. They have to be, kind of stuck in place. So I kept walking forward here, and the krill didn't see me, which was great. So this is what I mean. You just have to keep on going. Sometimes you see that blue light, but it doesn't actually mean anything. It's not going to come for you. It just means that they're looking in that direction, and they're not necessarily going to pan back to where you are. So once you get through that tunnel, it's pretty much the home stretch. Krill shouldn't be able to see you here unless, again, a player leads their light to you. You do have to be careful of the crabs here. They can get a little bit vicious. I found sometimes, but fortunately they didn't seem to target me this time. And this is the final part of the memory, and you made it, you did it, you can breathe easy, you've done it. Just make sure whenever you do relive this part that you absolutely remember to go over to this part here by the spirit and to tap on the flame icon to relive the spirit's memory. And there you guys have it. That is how you relive the memory. As I said, be sure to make sure that you hit the flame icon. Otherwise, it doesn't count as a completely relived memory. So please be sure to do this and to watch this cutscene. Then you know for sure that you have learned the emote and properly relived the spirit's memory, and you are able to get cosmetics from them as a traveling spirit. If you have any tips on how to relive this or any warnings, please feel free to comment them down below. I know they will help out a lot of people because everyone has their own way to relive a spirit. So I hope that helped you guys out. Thank you all so much for watching, and good luck, everyone.